for joining us. I'm Dorothy Dorton, and I am with AARP Alabama. And today we are going to go over scams affecting caregivers and their loved ones. And today we have Monde Donaldson with the Better Business Bureau with us today. And she is going to be going over some of the scams that you need to be aware of. And then at the end, I'll give you some just good old caregiving tips and some good old caregiving resources that AARP Alabama has. And just to let you know, we are recording this. And I'll let you know a little bit about AARP Alabama. We empower people to choose how they live as they age. We're a nonpartisan 501c4. We have over 420,000 members in Alabama. And so our main role is to advocate for those 50 plus and their families, regardless of politics. So again, I want to welcome Ms. Monde Donaldson, and take it away, Monde.
Thank you, Dorothy. Thanks so much for having me. Quickly, I'm going to tell y'all a little bit about the Better Business Bureau. We are a nationwide organization, and our focus is to help establish trust in the marketplace. And we accredit businesses, we investigate fraud and scams. And like today, we'd like to provide a lot of educational opportunities for the consumers and caregivers and businesses as well. So our offices are in Birmingham and Mobile. We've been around in Mobile since 1954, and we encompass 50 of Alabama's 67 counties. And if you're watching this and you're in the northern part of the state, there is a BBB of North Alabama located in Huntsville to use as a great resource for you as well. Some of our services that we offer are customer reviews and complaints. We have a Get a Quote. If you need to find a plumber, a roofer, anybody near you, you can contact us and we can get you quotes very quickly from our accredited members. You can also report scams to us through scam trackers. And as I said earlier, we have a speakers bureau where we educate businesses, consumers about scams. What are we going to talk about today, though? Let's talk about why we're here today. And we're going to talk about caregiver scams. And unfortunately, we're seeing more and more of this. And AARP has some great resources that Dorothy's going to tell you about at the end. So I'm going to go over some common caregiver scams. And there's also some scams that are affecting older adults and things that you need to be watching for. Whether you're 50 or whether you're 65 or whether you're a caregiver or not. So caregiver scams usually involve theft or abuse or targeting vulnerable victims. And sometimes it's even on an alarming scale. And so we've identified some of these highlights. You know, a caregiver might be fabricating stories about not having funds or playing on the victim to cover the cost. I'm well aware of a situation like that out in Texas where a caregiver kept getting this gentleman to keep giving him a little more money, a little more money, a little more money, and taking care of her sister, taking care of her brother, taking care of different family members. And before the daughter of the victim became aware of what was happening, this lady had gotten access to his checking account. He really felt like there was something there. He trusted her and kept pushing the daughter away and saying, "You don't understand." But actually, this gentleman was being taken quite substantially in a financial, you know, just from somebody that was very unscrupulous and took advantage of a gentleman that, you know, really wasn't making good decisions at all. There's also unqualified caregivers. You know, you need to check out any sitting services. If you're a sitting service or a nursing service, you know, check out that business with the Better Business Bureau. Unfortunately, too, we see abuse sometimes with caregivers that may be, you know, not taking care of them, keeping them locked up, things like that that are more likely like a crime. And then if you see something like that, you need to be reporting that to the police department, DHR. And then there are also people that are involved in bogus jobs and nanny scams. And there again, those are just like what they sound. You know, these people are not qualified or you're paying money for something that you don't get the service. So I'm going to start with just some things that affect all of us, whether you're a caregiver, but it's certainly things that older adults are victims of, and that's calls from people that don't, you know, these are the top impersonated organizations: Social Security, Publishers Clearinghouse, the IRS. As we know at BBB and at AARP, nobody from the government ever calls you. And Medicare doesn't call you, the BBB doesn't call you, the Treasury Department doesn't call you, and none of those things ever call you. And then sometimes you may see a pop-up email from Microsoft or Apple or Amazon, or get a text. The majority of those are not real. Okay, so here's how they do it. Some of the tricks that these con artists use to scam older adults typically involve phone calls. You know, the FTC reports that fraudulent telemarketers often direct their calls at older adults. You know, like I said a minute ago, they'll claim to be a government agent or even pose a bank employee. You know, if you're in doubt, first of all, don't answer the phone if you don't know the number. That is just something that I know Dorothy probably says all the time. I say it every time I make a presentation. And don't feel pressure to act. You know, you might get a call and they're offering you something and it just sounds too good to be true. And anytime something sounds too good to be true, 99.9% of the time, it is a scam. Unfortunately, some of these people also use the words like free, buy one, get one free, you know, that kind of thing. And you're probably wondering why romance scams is on this list. Well, actually, romance scams was one of the riskiest scams amongst adults 55 to 64. And then travel and timeshares were right behind that in our BBB scam tracker report. So unfortunately, these things happen. I've spoken to several groups recently, and every one of them could share a story about somebody they knew that a romance scam had been attempted. Fortunately, among this group, whoever these people were, they realized that it was a scam right away. So what do they do? What kind of information are they trying to get from you? These are people, you know, it's a fake phone call. Anybody who asks for your credit card information, or they claim to be from Medicare, they claim to be with the Treasury Department, the Social Security Department, please, please, please do not ever give them your information. If you have any doubt yourself, you call Social Security yourself. Anytime you get any calls like that, just don't rely on the person on the phone telling you that you've got a problem with your bank account or whatever it might be. Call your bank or go to your bank yourself. You know, charitable donations are another one. Particularly this time of year, this is the highest time of year when most people give to charities. And so make sure that the charity that you're giving to is a reputable charity, not something that sounds like a word that you're familiar with. It might, if somebody calls and says, I got a call here at work. If somebody called and said, we're calling on behalf of so-and-so, it was an organization I had never heard of. Would you like to give money? Would you like to, you know, donate some other items? And I'm thinking, you know, you just called the Better Business Bureau asking for something, and I don't even think you're a reputable place. Airline refunds, be careful if you see texts or emails offering you incentives for airline refunds or a free day from a particular airline. You know, be real, those things don't happen. And there again, don't answer the phone if you don't recognize the number. Okay, like I said, fake charities and donations, they'll try to con people into making donations to charities. Watch for common sounding names. The BBB has 2 resources that you can look towards to check out charities. It's BBB, the give.org, or then the BBB Wise Giving Alliance, which lists every national charity, and we rate those as well. How much of your money goes to, you know, to operations, how much goes to the cause out in the field. So just be very wary of that. And I think particularly old people, you know, as people get older, you know, they are much more charitable, and, you know, they just get all bombarded with mail, calls, and you know, they see pictures of poor little children, or a mission trip, something for missionaries, and they sometimes just start sending money, and then the next thing you know, there's just a deluge of mail coming from that charity or another charity or another charity, and you come over and there's a stack of mail from all these charities that you may have never heard of 6 weeks before, but your dad's or 6 months before, and your dad's got a pile of them because he's been sending money to one or two. Okay, Dorothy. Home improvement. This is another area actually where people take a lot of advantage of older homeowners. You know, they ask for payment up front. They try to get you to make a quick decision. They come to you, they do a lot of door-to-door. Some parts of the state that have bad storms, like down here in Mobile, we have hurricanes and you have tornadoes throughout the state. You see a lot of this right after a tornado or a hurricane. We recommend that you pay with a credit card. That way you have a chance to get your money back if there's any problem. You know, get written estimates, and, you know, read the fine print on any kind of contracts that you're getting to sign up, or have someone in your family review those with you to make sure that you know exactly what kind of work is being done on your home, and make sure that the people that you are using are licensed and bonded. And there again, you can check that out with the Better Business Bureau as well if you need to check on any business in the state of Alabama. We see a lot of this. Actually, before we started this webinar today, we were talking about some Medicare issues. So Medicare right now is open from October to the 15th, you know, and we're also in the healthcare.gov open enrollment as well. You know, your mailbox again is full of letters from every healthcare agency that seems to be legit. Many of them are, but many of them are just fake people trying to get your money. You know, beware of free health screenings. When you see something like that, they're going to ask for personal information, and you do not want to show anybody your Social Security card, your Medicare card, anything like that. One thing I learned from one of these talks before is, you know, never carry your Medicare card around with you. You know, leave it at home. That is not a good thing to do. So, you know, keep all your information at home, and beware of these unsolicited calls. And there again, if you think it's legitimate, call back and hang up and contact the official website if you think it's somebody trying to sell you a healthcare plan.
Right. And if you don't mind, I'll jump in real quick, Mondi. We, like you said, we were just talking before the presentation about Medicare and how it is currently open enrollment. And the state of Alabama does have a federally funded program called SHIP. And it is for anyone who is interested or looking at their Medicare coverage, whether it's open enrollment or not, or if you have a question, or if someone is giving you unsolicited calls on Medicare and stuff. Again, that program is called SHIP, and it is the State Health Insurance Program. And you can find information about that. It's completely free. They give you completely non-biased information about different Medicare plans. And that you can find that anywhere in your area at 1-800-AGE-LINE. That's 1-800-AGE-LINE. And you just call that number, ask them if you can talk to the SHIP coordinator in your area, and they'll be happy to put you through, and you can ask them these questions or give them a heads up if you are getting unsolicited phone calls and such like that. So that's a great resource that we have in the state. So I just wanted to make sure we pointed that out. So thanks, Mondi.
Dorothy, thank you for hopping right in there on that.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, we're ready for the next one.
There we go.
We call this the grandma scam. These people call, they say your grandchild's been arrested. They've got a speeding ticket. They're holding them. They're on spring break somewhere. They're at Christmas. They're on Thanksgiving break, and they're in jail, and you need to help pay their bond and things like that. You know, hang up, call your relatives, make sure, those are always a scam. I do know somebody there again in the Fairhope area who almost fell for it. The person was very convincing. They knew what the grandchild called the grandmother, and had, just had a little bit of personal information that I'm assuming they got off Facebook. I don't know how they got it, but and so my friend's mother, though, realized after talking to him a little bit, she said, well, let me just check on that myself. And of course, that's the last she heard from him. So if in doubt, resist the urge to just jump in and start sending somebody you don't know money.
Right. And sometimes these, we actually had an AARP volunteer down here in Mobile that got a call like this too. And the person was actually impersonating their grandson. And so this person, like you said, may have pulled some stuff off of Facebook. So they knew some information and stuff. And, one of the things that we recommend when we talk about this too, is if you do have a grandchild and they're calling, they're asking for this, or they say they're in trouble, y'all can share a password too. You can have a password or a safe word or something that you can ask them and say, okay, well, that's great, but what is our password? And it can be, jellyfish or pineapple or just something, silly that's easy to remember, to make sure that it is the person you're talking to. You don't share it with anybody else. And it's one way to kind of to vet that,
And I would add that particularly during COVID, people have been so isolated, so they don't know as much what's going on with their family members as they would have known in the past.
Exactly.
So it's just, unfortunately, there are bad people out there everywhere.
Great point. Great point.
So how can you recognize some of these things, but how can you protect yourself? We've hit on a couple of scams that affect seniors or could affect caregivers. And we want to just make sure that, we're talking about caregivers could be you taking care of your elderly mother, it could be you checking on your aunt once a week, or it could be somebody that you've hired. The definition of caregiver, and there again, in this day and time, is completely different than it was maybe 20 or 30 years ago. People are living longer. They need assistance in different ways. And so we need to make sure that we are protecting you as the caregiver. I am protecting you as the older person who might need a little help. So, recognize scams, whether you're the caregiver or the person. Resist pressure to act quickly. Be cautious. And above all, protect your identity no matter what you do. Just be really careful about giving your personal information out to anyone.
Exactly.
I'm just going to go back over a few of these tips again to spot some scammers. Know the red flags. Don't act quickly. Don't buy one, get one free. And I don't mean going to get bread at Publix. I mean, don't be very careful of somebody who wants to offer you a free dinner or a free stay at a condo, that kind of stuff. Be alert to Medicare fraud. AARP has tremendous resources and to help you how to look for things like that. Do your research. Beware of these romance scams. And then reach out to trustworthy people, whether it be, your neighbor who's been looking out for you for a couple of years, whether it's your son, whether it's your daughter, whether it's your minister, ask for advice from people that that you can trust. So the other tips might be is familiarize yourself with who your parents' neighbors might be, and encourage people, teach your loved ones, who they can trust. You need to practice a little patience, and take care of yourself too. Just tips for helping loved ones. I think we've kind of gone all over those before. And then, what you can do to help yourself. Work out and meditate and eat well and take breaks. And, you know, if you need somebody to take some, take some time off, if you're the caregiver, you need some time to go get your hair cut or run to the grocery store or make other arrangements that the person you're caring for is comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to mention just a couple other quick things too. You know, if you start seeing your loved one's bank account start getting emptied quickly, or unfamiliar payments being made, if you see the person acting secretively about phone calls or messages, you know, those are some red flags. And I don't know why I'm kind of adding here on the tips for caregivers, but it's just a tip. If you just see the person you're caring for acting a little bit strangely, or having problems paying bills or buying food or anything that's just a little bit out of the ordinary, then it's going to be time for you to step up and have a, you know, big conversation with them and take care of yourself, but take care of them as well. And there it is at the last one there, it says find support. So you may need support for yourself, but you also might need to find support for more support than what you're able to give at that time. And I think this transitions nicely to a slide that Dorothy's getting ready to put up about AARP.
Yes, it does. Thank you so much, Monty. That was great information. And I do have some information if I can find the screen where I need to share it. Okie dokie. Let's see here. Hold on just a second for me. I apologize, folks. All right, there we go. So I think y'all can see that. I don't know if y'all can see that. Let me try that again.
Got it. There.
Can you see it? Okay, great. Because I can't, for some reason it's not showing it to me. But all right, so y'all can see the prepare to care. Is that correct, Mondi?
Yes, they can see it.
Excellent. All right. So this is our website, AARP's website on caregiving and prepare to care. And we have this wonderful tool that we've got it in Spanish, we've got it in Chinese, we've got English for Asian Americans. We've got all different versions of this, as well as, and everything's a little slow, so I apologize, folks, but as well as even a veterans focused prepare to care guide. And these guides you can find online at aarp.org. And they're very, very helpful. And let me see if I can. All right. Can y'all see the AARP caregiving guide now? Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So this guide, you can print it off from your computer, aarp.org. You can Google prepare to care from AARP, and it should bring it right up, because that's actually what I did, just to make sure. But this guide gives you a lot of valuable information. It helps you, like, here are the contents. It helps you start the conversation with your loved one. So even if your loved one isn't quite at that level of needing care yet, that's the ideal time to talk about things, what they want when they may need some extra help, what they I'm sorry, y'all, my mouse is not cooperating with me right now. I apologize. And you've got all sorts of things in here. It helps you give you tips to start the conversation. It helps to talk about, like Mondi said, forming a team, finding support. It's got a great glossary of terms here. Let me see if I can scroll down a little bit. Technology is a wonderful thing, but when it doesn't want to work for you, oh, it's terrible. Here we go. So here we've got start the conversation. Towards the end, if I can ever get there, I don't know why this isn't cooperating with me. Let's see here. Oh, there we go. No? Okay. Folks, I'm so sorry. I don't know what's going on here. But you've got make a plan, find support, and towards the end of it, if I can ever get over there, let me do something real quick. I am so sorry.
While she's trying to pull it up, I want to say that Dorothy did share that with me yesterday, and I'm ready to just print it out and use it myself. It is a tremendous resource, you know, for anybody, particularly in this day and time when some of these people's children do not live around the corner in the same neighborhood. or they live across country, and it's just a great guide to step by step what you need to do in every phase of this. So it's a great resource. I can't recommend it enough.
Thank you, Mondi. It really is. And I think I got it working now. I apologize. It was a matter of sharing the correct screen. Can y'all see me scrolling down? Okay, great. I'm sorry. So it's at the end, towards the end, it's got a great glossary. It talks about, what different things mean, like area agency when aging, which is a great resource for reliable respite care if you need it. Like Mondi said, if you need to go out and get your hair done, if you just need a break, great place. It talks about like what a conservator is exactly, discharge planner. It's got all of this great information for folks, and resources, places you can look up. If American Heart Association, of course, we've got a bunch of AARP, like long-term care cost calculator up there. And then what I find most valuable for this, and again, you can print this out at home, are the checklists. You have your goals, like what does the person want to do? Do they want to stay home or move near family? Would they like to move to an assisted living facility eventually? Another great one is general needs assessment. What do they need help with? Who's the point person for that? And to have this conversation when your loved one is still, cognitively aware enough to have that conversation, a lot of scams and frauds can be stopped if you know their financial situation, if you know where their bank accounts are or what bank they use, if you know where they keep their bank statements or how to access those statements, you'll be able to look at those statements and see if there are any red flags coming up, see if there's a recurring charge from somewhere called like Microsoft. It's not Microsoft, it's Microsoft. But this guide and these forms in the back really kind of help you with what they need. Do they need help with certain stuff? Where is their Social Security card located? Where's their birth certificate located? You want to make sure you know where all of that stuff is, again, because that can help you not only with their care, but it can also help you prevent scams and frauds or help you recognize if someone's trying to steal your loved one's identity, especially if they're not capable of telling you that. A personal experience for me was my grandmother had dementia for 13 years. She was in an assisted living facility, and a man called her on the phone in her assisted living facility and basically had her completely drop her Medicare insurance and quote unquote sign up with him. And fortunately, my mom and my uncle had conservatorship and power of attorney, so they were able to fix that quite quickly. And that person got into a lot of trouble for doing that, because you're not supposed to call and solicit people like that cold turkey. But he did take advantage of someone who had, my grandma, like I said, had dementia. She wasn't sure what he was talking about, and so that was something that we were able to catch, because my mom was, looking at her mail and knew what her Medicare insurance was, and saw this new stuff that wasn't correct, that didn't cover half of what she needed. So there's a lot of tips and a lot of things, but really it's about knowing, that those key things, even like garbage service, garbage pickup day, somebody could come to their door and say that they're the garbage man and they need to pay their garbage bill. Well, if they don't come, the garbage man only comes on Tuesdays, but this guy showed up on a Friday. So, there's that kind of thing that you can always use this handy dandy stuff for. And then we've got, let's see if I can switch, Fraud Watch Network. Can y'all see that? Is it coming up for you? Fraud Watch Network.
Yes,
okay,
it is.
Great. So another resource, of course, Mondi with the Better Business Bureau is always a great resource and one of the first folks to call. And I'm going to throw her information up there in just a second. But we also have the Fraud Watch Network at AARP. And again, you can just Google Fraud Watch Network. And since it's not coming up for us, that's, I think, what you'll have to do. That's what I did just to make sure it comes up. There it goes. But we have this, this great information, again, great resource, prevention resources here. We also have a number to call, and if it will come up, but we do have the Fraud Watch Network phone number. And if you ever think that there is something that could be, you know, a little sketchy, or if you think you or a loved one have been a victim, you can call that number. If I can find it. Here it is. Fraud Watch Helpline, 877-908-3360. That's 877-908-3360. So you are very, very informed with a lot of great resources. And I'm going to go back and share Monde's contact information. Let's see, where are we? There we are. I'm going to share that. Get back to here. And Monde, I want to thank you so much. This was some great information. And there's Monde's information. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Monde.
And I want to add that both the AARP and BBB are statewide organizations, and of course, yes, they're members of a national organization. We're both affiliated with national organizations that are really, we're almost like first cousins to me, because we're both being advocates for you.
Absolutely.
So, and we're here to protect you and help you. And we have had a great year or a couple of years working together on projects like this. So please feel free to call us both. And thank you, Dorothy, for having me and being part of the AARP family.
Well, thank you so much, Monde. I was going to say AARP is BFFs with the BBB. So there's all of your letters in one. So it's our alphabet soup. But yeah, Monde, we really appreciate all you do here at AARP, and I know a lot of folks do. And you know, it's just great to know that we have you in our corner to help us and provide some of these great resources. So folks, thank you so much for joining us. This is recorded. If you're watching it on YouTube or Facebook, you can go back at any time and look at it for the resources. And I will also try to drop some links in the comments of those recordings as well. But until then, again, Monde, thank you so much for joining us.
Welcome.
And I hope everybody has a safe and happy Thanksgiving, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you.